Hi guys, today I'm going to be sharing some tips and tricks that I've learned from playing Ymir. These tips are aimed at players who either just bought Ymir and are not sure what to do, or for players who've already tried the single player but are unsure on how to progress to achieve fair exchange or onwards, due to dying from rebellions or barbarian raids. These tips are mainly aimed at the single player mode where barbarians are the only real threat. However, lots should be applied to the multiplayer mode too, where they can be a real help. I've timestamped the different parts so you can re-watch bits of the video that you're unsure of. I'm also following this video with a more advanced guide so you can progress into the Copper and Bronze Age, as well as the tutorial series so you can see more clearly how to play the game, as well as pick up more tips along the way. My first tip is a quick one, and that is to simply settle wherever your band of porcos spawn. The reason for this is as you scout unknown territories, encounters can occur which can be both good and bad. However, some will instantly wipe out your starting force, whereas others may give you resources or new families. The risk of having your starting force wiped out is the main reason why you should not try and move. However, once you become more experienced, you can attempt to try this yourself. My next tip is especially important. Make sure you isolate your territory storage into one area by moving the ground storage all into one place and placing buildings such as paddocks nearby too. You will then want to move your militias and armies there with the strategic tool, putting them into a defensive formation so that they can protect the fort. Building a wooden fort there will massively improve your ability to defend against barbarian raids. However, each wooden tile costs coins in maintenance. Therefore, you do not want to build your fort too big, otherwise it could be costly when you transition into the fair exchange economic idea. Following on from my last tip, you want to build your fort in a defendable area. The best areas are small islands in rivers, hilltops, or against cliffs. This is due to it saving you money and resources by not needing to build as many walls. You will know a fort is fully sealed as it will turn the inside area red and then green once it's been made accessible. It will take invading forces a while to break down the walls, so ranged units are good to have inside the fort to attack the enemies while they're trying to breach the walls. Barbarians are the only main martial threat you will face in single player. However, they can easily knock you out of the game if you're not careful. Barbarian encampments that are within 5 tiles of your settlement can attack you. They will raid your settlement, destroy a couple of buildings, and steal a portion of your resources. The best way to deal with them is to take them out early with a moderate army by taking out their camp. This is because barbarians grow with time, meaning they can easily grow their strength a lot faster than you do if you do not keep up with them. Taking them out quite early, once you unlock javelins, is the safest measure. Ymir offers you the ability to create units called militia. These are troops that cannot be moved from the territory. However, they cost less maintenance, as well as do not use up any jobs for your people. Armies, on the other hand, do cost maintenance, and do use up jobs. However, you can move them around the map to hunt, or move resources, as well as take out barbarian camps. One important detail though, is that militia decrease the loyalty of your settlement, and armies increase it. This means that too much militia can cause your settlement to revolt. This is especially true in the early game, where loyalty and conflict management is much harder. One big problem I experienced in Ymir was rebellions, and I also found my conflict would just increase and increase, and I would always end up getting into negative loyalty and would lose my city. Before you unlock fair exchange, you gain lots of conflict as you gain more porcos. This increase in conflict and population causes your loyalty to drop. One way you can avoid this happening to you is by controlling your population growth. In Ymir, you gain more population by fulfilling the demand for food of your porcos, as well as increasing the variation in their food sources. However, do not feel like you always need to meet these to their fullest. Only increase population if you can handle the loyalty and administration penalty that you will face. Unhoused families will create buildings called slums. These offer minimal health and life quality bonuses. You should aim to build enough houses to accommodate most of your porco families. This will not only increase their health and lead to more workers, but it will increase the average intelligence, meaning you can research ideas faster and with higher chances of success. Building houses is a good way to increase the number of workers you can get when you start on a tile with low amounts of food. But don't think that it is a must, especially in cities that are not your capital, as you can easily source high amounts of food to grow your population. As I mentioned earlier, barbarians get stronger over time. This is important to know, as it becomes a bad habit to leave your game on at a fast speed, for example 20 times. This will lead to barbarians growing stronger than you do, and you will most likely lose. Playing at 1 to 3 times speed when busy, and 5 to 10 times while waiting for research is a much better speed to play at. It allows you to properly micromanage your settlement and make sure you're keeping up or getting better than the barbarians. The next tip isn't major, however it is good practice for when you take up more of your tile with pastures and crops. I advise you build your buildings on patches of low fertility such as gravel or poor ground. You can check for fertility by clicking the eye in the top right corner and selecting fertility. This will simply free up more space for you to build pastures and farms. It will also allow you to neatly plan out settlements to your liking, making them look nicer. However, this doesn't improve them as of yet in the game. My final tip is to use your army to scout your surroundings. You should not be settling any extra cities too early, as you will most likely not have the state power to fund these. However, finding some tiles with resources that you will need later is very useful. Once you unlock leadership, you can build cities called outposts that cost a lot of coins in building maintenance. However, they only cost 5 state power, making them particularly useful to build to exploit rare resources such as shells or metals far away from your capital. One thing you should also know is that you need text to be able to find certain resources. For example, you would not be able to find any copper until you research the idea that offers it. Well, that is the end of my tips for the early game of Ymir. I hope you have learned something new and now feel like you have the knowledge to deal with some of the challenges the early game of Ymir has to offer. Once you are comfortable with the early game and are ready to switch to fair exchange policy, check out my Ymir Advanced Guide video to make sure you know how to handle that too. Thanks for watching, and good luck with Ymir.